Hi, you guys. So I would like to share a dream that I had, and in this dream, it was August 31st of 2024. Yesterday, I believe that was Friday. So, no, Saturday. So when I walked into this grocery store, I was surprised to see people living in cardboard boxes within the store, and they had their little section staked out. And this was not a major grocery store, but a small grocery store. And there was this impression that the owner of the store was trying to help these people out by allowing them to stay because they had no other place to go, and was providing for them. And then the store was faintly empty. Just a few people shopping, and the cashiers just were working as normal. But I was given this impression, it's like you have this knowing inside the dreams about what's going on. And so this store owner was showing compassion to these people because there was a famine in the land. And so that's what I want to speak on, is that God is showing that there is coming a famine. And yes, there's going to be a famine for the word of God, and people are going to want to hear the truth after seeing so many pastors be dethroned from the pulpit. But there's also going to be a famine for natural food. And so in this dream, it seemed as though this famine has been going on for a while, and that it was become a norm for this store owner to provide for these people. And like I said, this was like a private owned store. It wasn't a major grocery store, but this owner took it upon themselves that they were going to look after these people, which was a very kind gesture. And so that ties into the story of Joseph. Joseph, he had these two dreams. One dream is where his sheaf was amongst his brothers, and they were all in a circle, and then all of their sheaves were standing up, but then suddenly his brother's sheaves bowed down to his sheaf. And so he told the dream to his brothers, and of course they became upset with him because they were like, we're not going to bow down to you. And then he had another dream where the moon and the stars, the sun, moon, and stars all paid obeisance to him, like they bowed down to him. And he shared that with his brothers, and then they brought him to his father, and his father just took it to heart and said, you know, he's gonna think on it, and did not really chastise him the way that his brothers expected. But when everything panned out, and Joseph was sent out to bring food to his brothers, and they cast him into the pit, and then they sold him into Egypt, and then from there he worked himself up into being in a palace. Then he was lied on by Pharaoh's wife and sent back into prison. And then later on, he gave interpretations of the dream of the bread baker and the wine bearer. And the wine bearer was returned to his job, and the bread baker, he was unalived. And so at that point, he told the wine bearer, hey, remember me so that he can come out of this prison, because he didn't belong there. And it was 2 years later that the wine bearer remembered Joseph, because because the Pharaoh had a dream and he needed his dream interpreted. So the wine bearer said, hey, you know what? He repented of himself, and he explained that he was supposed to have spoken up earlier about Joseph, because Joseph had interpreted his dream, and he was supposed to speak up earlier about Joseph to see if Joseph could also be pardoned out of prison. And so when Pharaoh heard that Joseph could interpret his dream, he beckoned Joseph. And so Joseph goes from this horrible ordeal, and I'm paraphrasing and jumping over a lot, but Joseph goes over this after going through this horrible ordeal, and is now in prison for something he did not do. He is now beckoned by the guards to come out of prison and to meet with Pharaoh. And so he goes, I guess they say, from the pit to the palace and to meet with Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh, he was able to give Pharaoh his dream and interpret his dream to him concerning the 7 years of good years and the 7 years of famine. And so he then goes on to explain to Pharaoh that he's gonna need someone to harvest or save up all of this wheat and corn during the 7 good years, so that they'll be able to have it and provide it to these other nations as well during the famine. So during this time in the land of Canaan, Joseph's father and his brethren are dealing with this harsh famine, and his father tells them, hey, why should we sit here and starve to death? You guys go to Egypt and buy food for us. And so Joseph's 11 brothers, they come up to Egypt to buy food, and Joseph sends them through this trial to test them out. And during this trial, he later reveals who he is to them, and then has his father to come down. And so when it all was said and done, Joseph told his brethren, hey, do not feel bad, do not feel like God is punishing you, and do not feel bad that what you did to me, because this was all a part of God's plan. This was all part of God's plan, because he knew that a famine was coming, and that he sent me ahead of you to prepare the way and to be able to provide for you during this famine. So I say all that to say that yes, a famine is coming, yet those who are chosen of God, God is going to provide for them. And maybe you're going through some hard times right now and you don't understand why. Well, he is strengthening you so that you can be in position to help those whom he's going to have you help when this famine hits. So you're going to, some of you are going to be in a good position to be able to help others. And that is why you've gone through this training and these trials. And your family are going to be provided for. Those who are of your immediate family, they're going to be provided for. And whomever God is sending you to help, you will be able to provide and help them. So this dream was showing me that there was a famine coming, but I was able to walk into the grocery store ready to buy and purchase items, and yet the store owner was also providing protection to a few homeless people as they lived out of these cardboard boxes inside of this operating store. So God is going to have people, he's going to put mercy on people's hearts to provide for those who can't provide for themselves during this famine. There was other parts of the dream as well, but it doesn't really speak on this matter, so I didn't add it in. But that part of the dream spoke to me that there is a famine coming, and God is preparing some of his people to be able to be providers during this time, and you're going to be taken care of And you're going to also be able to bless others. And so with that said, I pray that you all be well and have a wonderful day.